Man, I don't know what it is here lately, but I've been getting a whole lot of switchers asking me questions like, I've been thinking about switching to the Mac. Why should I? Or can you give me any reasons that I would benefit? For some reason, they've just been flooding in. I mean, it's like all my emails come at once, or they don't come at all. So guys, if you've emailed me and I haven't responded, or I just haven't given you the answer that you wanted, or you've wrote a second letter in response to one I've written and I haven't got back to you, please don't get mad at me. Please be patient, or just keep resending it until you hear from me, because persistence pays. Sometimes I get so many emails, it's just hard to answer them all, and they'll get deleted or lost in the fray. And sometimes it's just, if you haven't heard from me within like 48 hours, 2 days, you need to maybe resend your email if it's that important, because I've missed it or something. So I figured I'd make a list of what you gain and what you lose from OS X when you switch from getting a PC to a Mac. Now, you win some, you lose some, but that ain't the case, because you win a lot more than you lose with getting a Mac nowadays. 10, 15 years ago, different story. Nowadays, Macs are just as prevalent as PCs are, just about. Well, you know what I mean, relatively speaking. The common middle income household, you know what I'm saying? Middle income, average wages, just a normal American between $25,000 and $75,000 a year, So what's the very first thing we get? I mean, the most important and one of the biggest selling points for the Mac: security. Okay, security. It's a big deal. Windows has gotten better, but it's still a mess. Mac is Unix. It's been around for decades, and it is rock solid, regardless of what anybody wants to tell you, and it's getting better all of the time. There's been viruses and adware and spyware, you can say that technically, but there's never been a virus for Mac that's been run rampant on people, like broke out and just got loose on people. It's never happened. Never been really cases of spyware or adware or malware. People say that there is these things, but these same people that are telling you that they are adwares and viruses and spyware out there for the Mac, they'll say, oh yes there are, yes they are. All these people can give you are links to articles that say this virus is here or this guy had this problem. They can never actually show me a virus. If it's so easily to get, send it to me. Email me this virus. Do something. Give me the virus. Go out and find one. See if you can't get it to me. Don't send me to a web page and say go to this web page and download this, or go to this web page and see what. I want to know a virus, boys, that can be spread via email. It's just not going to happen, okay? And that Unix comes up to point number 2. Stability, okay? Not only does the Unix give it security, it gives it stability. Like I said, it's rock solid. No denying it, no getting around it. It's more solid than Windows. You can have the PC fanboys say it's not. Oh, my Windows machine's been up for 20,000 years. Oh, bullshit. You're a liar. There ain't no Windows machine on the planet going to be more solid than a Unix system. No way. You'll never convince me of that. There might be the anomaly. There's always the exception to the rule. The 1 in a bazillion chance. But for the most part, it's not going to happen. Nag free, okay? Number 3 is nag free. You don't get any things popping up telling you need to do this, you need to do that. The only nagging you're going to get from OS X is when you want to install something. You can't install anything without your permission. You can't. If you download something from the web, a virus cannot install itself without your permission, even if you open an email that contains it. Unless you specifically give it permission, it cannot install a virus or anything like that. That's the key. Unless you click yes. They might disguise it and say, you need to go get this update. Click yes to go ahead and get it. And you click yes, you're fucked. They might disguise it, but you still have to okay it. You just can't do it without you okaying it. It's a big deal. Number 4, some people may disagree, top-notch software. Mac software is top-notch. All the Mac developed software that I usually come across, and don't get me wrong, there's some junk, but 90% of the software that I buy and I use is top-notch software. It's solid, it's stable, it's smooth, it's glitch-free, and it just always works. Because why? The next brings us to our next reason. Why does it always work? Because of the simplification. it's simplified to where the average dumb user can figure it out, but yet it's techy enough and geeky enough to where people that enjoy that kind of stuff like me will be able to enjoy it, because there's a little secret entryway into the geek world of Mac, and it's called Terminal. Now this terminal is a geek's dream. So it's smart and dumb all at the same time. It's a wonderful, perfect operating system. Let's go on. Desktop organization. I've touched this on other videos before. You know it, I know it. 90% of Windows users out there, desktops are cluttered like crazy with shortcuts to every application in the world. Windows don't like it. It clutters up everything. Desktop organization. Mac has lots of tools built in for desktop organization, like spring-loaded folders and snap to grids and all kinds of this good stuff. Setting your background pictures and your folders. And I'm not saying you can't do this on Windows, but what I'm saying is the experience you get from a Mac when you do these things is just seamless. And speaking of seamless, networking. Networking on the Mac, I swear I would rather do it any day. I would rather be hung upside down and have my balls beat with a tablespoon than I would have to do networking on Windows. I hate it that much. Mac networking is beautiful. Voice and keyboard commands. You can completely operate your Mac on your voice or your keypad. Windows can probably do a lot of this stuff too, you know, but Mac can read back your emails, and it can, any text that's on the screen, it can read. Windows may be able to do this stuff. This is not the point that I'm trying to get across. It's how the Mac does them better. Windows claims security, but Mac does it better. Windows claims it's stable, but Mac is more stable. Windows claims top-notch software, and there is, but it's not everywhere. But with the Mac, it's just about everywhere. Top-notch software, I mean, it's like you will not get your application on the iTunes software on their website if it's not approved by Apple. I mean, if you want to release some hack and sack job and sell it out of your own house, that's your problem. You want to sell it on the Apple website, you're going to conform to some strict standards, and that makes software undeniably reliable. Okay? And I touched on it earlier in the video, the secret door to Unix called the terminal. That's really an extra plus, and the more you use Mac, the more you'll get into that and understand why it's such a big deal. Now, what do you lose when you switch from a PC? Well, I can't think of much. Some software, there's some software like, you know, accounting softwares and architecture software and stuff like that that's pretty irreplaceable. Most of the time, there's a Mac version or a Mac equivalent, but undeniably, you can. Now, nowadays, not really. But there are very specific, unique pieces of software that certain people need. And peripherals. Windows plug and play sucks, but it might be easier to find a driver for that 4-year-old cell phone you have for your Windows computer than it is the Mac computer. Okay, so those are the two things that I'm saying you probably lose, but when you look at what you gain, it's not even a question. So now let's get into my 10 favorite apps that come with every single Mac. Can you list 10 Windows apps that come bundled with Windows that are this good? Oh, wait a minute. No apps come bundled with Win 7. They make you download them, because if they bundled them, it'd be as slow and as memory hoggish as Vista. Wait till y'all go to Microsoft and start downloading Movie Maker and start firing up all them little features that they don't load up on boot in Windows 7 so they can keep it fast. Wait till y'all start firing all them services up. It'll slow down like Vista. Watch and see. So my 10 favorite apps that are free: iCal, Photo Booth, okay, Text Edit, Preview, Dictionary. I use these all. These are apps that I use all the time, okay, and they are just priceless when it comes to my workflow during the day. I said Dictionary, Stickies, iTunes, iPhoto, iMovie, and iDVD. Those are the 10 free apps that come, 10 of my free favorite apps. Now, you get a lot more with every Mac, but those are my 10 favorite free apps that come with every Mac. And look at the quality of apps I've listed: iCal, Photo Booth, Text Edit, Preview, Dictionary, Stickies, iTunes, iPhoto, iMovie, iDVD. All those are top-notch applications. And they're free with every Mac. Come on, guys. Is there really even a choice anymore? Get out of your Windows world. Don't worry about it. Say screw it. Move on. You will live. I promise. You will find a way to make it. I promise. You don't need your games, and if you do, boot them up in boot camp, guys. You ain't going to build that many systems. What, you're going to build a computer every 2 or 3 years? Fuck that. It's not worth it, man. Get a Mac. OS 10, brothers.